What's good, everybody? This your girl Kita, and this is the Kita Life. What's up, people? Welcome to the Kita Life. This is episode 1. I am super excited. I first want to thank you guys for listening to me and believing in me and supporting me throughout this journey. I was super nervous with getting this started, but I'm so glad that I was able to take the leap and finally start this. I really wanted to start this podcast so I can start conversations within our community and hopefully start some change going on. So, since it's Black History Month, I want to go ahead and do a little Black History lesson before each episode. I want to talk about people that we really don't hear about a lot, like we hear about Martin Luther King all the time, or Rosa Parks, or Harriet Tubman. There's way more people in our history that have done things for us that they don't really get their roses. So, this is the time that I want to just speak about them very briefly. I don't really want to bore you guys, but I definitely do feel like it's important that we do know about other people that have helped us. So, George Siney Jr., he was the youngest person to be sentenced to death in the 20th century in the USA. He was only 14 years old when he was executed in an electric chair. During his trial, even on the day of his execution, he always carried a Bible in his hand, claiming his innocence. He was accused of killing two white girls, aged 11 and 7. Their bodies were found near the house that he actually lived in. His trial was only 2 hours, and the jury was full of white people. His parents were threatened and prevented from being present in the courtroom and were even expelled from the city. Before the execution, he spent 81 days in prison and was not allowed any visitors. He was held in solitary 80 miles from his home and attended his hearing without a lawyer or his parents. He was electrocuted with 5,380 volts of electricity in his head. 70 years later, his innocence was finally proven by a judge in South Carolina. It was found that someone set him up solely for being black. So that is your history lesson for today. Let's go ahead and get started on the topic. The topic today is super important to me, especially because it's something that I deal with. Today we're going to be talking about mental health. So a couple of years ago, I was living very recklessly. I was drinking a lot. I had put myself in a lot of different situations because I was trying to mask the hurt that I was feeling. I started to lash out on my roommate. I really didn't have any type of, what is the word called? I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to lay in bed. I just wanted to drink. I just didn't want to think about my depression. So it got to a point where I tried to commit suicide. I had a full plan. I was going to take a bottle of pills and go lay in the bathtub and call 911. Then I figured that was dumb. I'm not going to do that. So I was driving to my grandmother's house one day actually, and for those who live in El Paso, we have a overpass called the Spaghetti Bowl, and I wanted to drive off of it and just let that be that. And so I knew that was not normal for a person to think. So I ended up going to the hospital, and then they sent me to a mental health hospital where I started my journey to get better. I started seeing a therapist there, and they tried to get me on medication, but I'm not going to lie to you. I was really uneasy about taking medication at a mental health hospital. I didn't want to be looked at as another crazy person taking medicine, so I really didn't take medicine there. But I did talk to a therapist, and it really made me it feel better to just get out things that I've been holding in since I was 6 years old. But that was my base, basically. That was my ground to get started and to just begin my healing. So once I left there, I started seeing a therapist with who I see now, and a psychiatrist who actually put me on medication. So, since I've been speaking with her, we actually came to the conclusion, we both agreed that I had a lot of the symptoms of people who have borderline personality disorder. So now I have a workbook that I work on. It definitely helps me a lot. It allows me to sit and really think about the things that stresses me out or makes me depressed, and I can think them through and I don't have to harp on them like I used to. So that was pretty great. But it made me think that, like, why am I now, well, I was like 23 at the time. Why am I now 23 trying to get my mental health together. Like, why did it take me so long? And I started to think that it's we were raised that mental health is something that's kind of not even real in some families. We were raised that mental health is something to be afraid of. People with mental health are crazy. Those are the drug addicts or the people who are homeless. It really wasn't okay to have a mental health issue. So people who are depressed or going through things, they just keep it bottled in and they never express themselves to go get the help that they need. So that's why we always have people who are criminals that are, committing murders, or people that do end up homeless because they and really they do go crazy because they don't get that help. um I was doing a lot of research before this episode to see, what is the main reasons why we don't get help. One of the reasons that really stuck out to me is religion. um a lot of black people obviously were raised either Christian or Muslim or whatever it is, and we were always taught to just pray about it. Just pray about it. Being depressed, being anxious, some people even hear things in their mind, and we were raised that, that was from Satan, and you just pray that away. You just work with the pastor and he'll get you together and you just pray that away and everything will be fine. In actuality, it's more to that. You have to speak to a therapist, somebody that really understands what's going on, and they can lead you in the right path to start getting that help. Yes, I do believe that, praying is a little part of it, but even in the Bible, it says faith without works is dead. So if we're just sitting and praying, God, I really hope that you could take this um, depression away from me. I've been feeling depressed for a long time. I'm even thinking about committing suicide. I just really pray that you could take this away from me, and you just stay in bed. That's not going to do anything. You need to pray, hey, God, you know what? I pray that you give me the strength and the understanding so I can help myself. I can get my mental health together so I can be better, you know. I've actually had my pastor's wife say at a Bible study that depression is a choice, that we choose to feel this way about ourselves, and that's not true. Certain mental health issues are a chemical imbalance, and when you have people that you look up to, especially religious people that you look up to, say stuff like that, it really stops people from going to get the help that they genuinely need to get. Another reason that we don't take mental health serious is that we always discourage one another to go get that mental help that we need. 63% of us believe that mental health is a weakness, which is not. Um, when I started getting the help that I needed, I was talking to different people about it, and I was telling people that I'm on antidepressants. And a lot of people told me to not take medicine because medicine is a band aid. And it's really not. Right now, I'm on antidepressants, and taking my medicine along with my therapy is really helping me. If I were to quit taking my medicine today, I would still have those tools that my therapist gave me so I can handle different situations that I wasn't able to handle before. Um, the medicine that we take is there just to calm us down and to get our mind right so we can better understand different things that we weren't able to understand before. Um, I'm not happy that the situation happened, but it's a perfect example. Salento, the rapper that did the Whip and Nene song, um, he was on the Doctors back in 2019. He was on the Doctors, and he was talking about his depression, and they had offered to help him get therapy and stuff that he needs, and he declined it because it's not taken serious. So in 2020, he broke into a stranger's house and he threatened them with a hatchet. And then in October, he got arrested for doing 143 miles an hour in a 63-mile freeway. And when the police pulled him over, he told them that it's okay that he does that because it's different. And it's not okay. I really hate when people use mental health as a reason for why they do things. Yes, um, mental health, your mind doesn't act the way it's supposed to, so you do act differently. But when you do realize that you have a mental health issue and you do nothing to get it fixed, and then you use that for reasons why you do crimes, it's not right. And that's another reason why people look at mental health as those crazy people. Um, yeah, I don't want to act like Salento. I don't want to act like Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey's always looked at as um, she's hard to work with, but she has bipolar disorder that I'm really not sure if she gets help for it, but that's who people look at. Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown. Well, they were on drugs, but you know what I'm saying. DMX, he actually has bipolar disorder, and people see them and they're like, I don't want to act like that. You know, I don't want to be um, in a boat with those people who act like that. But in reality, it's once you go and get that help that you need, once you go talk to that therapist, once you even group therapy works. Um, that's when you start that path of becoming quote unquote normal. There's nothing wrong. If anybody gets anything from this podcast, I want you guys to know that there's nothing wrong with mental health at all. As long as you're doing what you need to do to get the help that you need, there's nothing wrong. You should be proud. Makita has borderline personality disorder, and I tend to lash out. I tend to act. Um, for love. I feel like I have to do certain things in order for people to love me. And that's what I've trained myself. I always believed that I wasn't capable to love anybody. Nobody was capable to love me. I felt like I didn't deserve love. I talked down to myself. Um, and I've been that way since I was 6 years old. I trained myself. I really made myself believe these negative things about myself. But I can't continue using that as an excuse for my actions. At one point, I have to say, you know what? I'm the issue. I need to fix myself. And that's what we need to do. We need to stop discouraging one another to get therapy. We need to stop discouraging one another to get help. Actually, it took me so long to come out with this episode because I had different things that I really wanted to talk about and do. And God really put on my heart that I wanted to start a foundation called Fix Your Crown Foundation. And it's kind of like a big brother, big sister thing, but it's with Black people who have mental health issues that want to get help. And you'll get paired with somebody who's actually been through certain things so they can guide you and sort of be that support that you need to go and get help, because we don't support one another. We need to start doing that. So if anybody wants to go ahead and start that with me, I would be so grateful, because that's we really need to. We always look at other races, especially in El Paso. Anybody can attest to it. It's hard for us to get jobs. It's hard for us to do literally anything out here when we are not Mexicans, because they support one another. You can be a doctor. I'm just using this to show, but you can go to school and get your doctorates in physical therapy, and they're going to choose the guy who just got out of EPCC to work at their clinic because he's Mexican, because they want to help their people. And we need to do the same for each other. We need to see, our Black brothers and sisters and making sure they're okay. Hey, are you okay? Do you need somebody to talk to? Do you need resources? I can definitely give resources I'm going to put this episode in a YouTube video, so I'll have links to different resources for anybody who wants to get that help. But I really just want to end this out with let's start helping one another. Let's start encouraging one another to not only with mental health, but with anything. Let's start encouraging one another to do things that they want to do. I've had people who supported and encouraged me just for this podcast. And on days that I didn't want to do it, I thought of Regina. I thought of Shaquana. I thought of Dondre. I thought of Tasha. People who just even reposted my picture of my podcast. I thought of you guys. I've thought of Lexi, who actually put my second question for my second episode on her Instagram, so people can she could get responses from different people. Just that little support right there gave me what I needed to do what I wanted to do. So if those 5 or 6 people supported me. Can you guys imagine what we can do is as a Black community support one another through mental health and say, you know what, if you're feeling depressed, you should really go see a therapist. If you're feeling bipolar, if you're having these different things going on, you should really um, go talk to somebody. You should take medicine if medicine is prescribed to you because it works. We need to stop making stuff seem like you don't need to do that. You don't need to go to therapy. You don't need to take that medication. You don't need to do, but you do. And you have people who hold all this stuff in and they don't know what to do. And it turns into negative energy. So I really, really hope that somebody learned something from this episode. I thank you so, so much for listening to me. This is just my first episode. I was so nervous for it. So it's only going to get better from here. But thank you guys so, so, so much. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe onto the Key to Life YouTube. I will get this on Apple Music very, very soon so we can start listening to there. But thank you again. I love you guys and peace out.